In the hush before dawn, imagine stepping barefoot onto frost-hardened earth, your modern comforts stripped away by time's relentless tide. The wind bites at exposed flesh, and every breath feels like inhaling shards of ice. Muscles ache from the simple tasks that once felt trivial, sparking a fire, sharpening a flint, holding water. By midday, the sun climbs high, but it is a distant overseer, powerless to banish the chill more than a few precious inches from your skin. The flint chips, sputters, then roars to life, offering warmth and fragile hope against the encroaching cold. The luxury of grocery stores and processed foods fades into memory. Now, survival hinges on reading subtle cues in bird calls and rustling leaves. Hunger gnaws at your insides as you stare at the dense forest, every shadow a potential predator or prey. As dusk approaches, darkness creeps forward quicker than a glacier's advance, and you scramble to ignite your hearth. Would your grand ideas of civilization withstand the raw demands of nature? Each tentative plan to forage or hunt feels like rewriting survival from scratch. Each ember sparks questions about your place in this primeval world. For a moment, you mourn the simplicity lost, then steel yourself to the ritual of survival. The taste is primal, untarnished by sauce or seasoning, a communion with ancestors long vanished. Misstep and you'd poison your lips forever. Yet each triumph feels like reclaiming a birthright. You lean against a gnarled tree trunk, marveling at the raw poetry of this existence. The crackle of flames becomes a lullaby as you huddle close, muscles frozen, thoughts drifting to your smartphone's comforting glow, now forever out of reach. In your modern mind, this feels impossible, yet necessity sharpens both blade and resolve. Your pulse quickens. Is this your salvation or your doom? Sleep teeters on the edge of terror and exhaustion, and you realize that safety is a luxury of the future. Sleep comes in fits and starts, twinned with dreams of modern life. You cling to your fire, but the wood grows scarce. Tomorrow's warmth is an uncertain promise. Night deepens, and the forest's chorus multiplies. Distant howls, snapping twigs, the soft pad of unseen paws. Before the second sun rises, you wrestle with doubt. Triumph surges, followed by cold realization. Even triumph here is tempered by the next moment's uncertainty. Every step demands primal acuity. Every breath is a victory. Will fire greet you, or will you awaken to cold ash and hungry darkness? You aim, heart hammering like a tribal drum, and let fly. The thud of impact echoes through millennia. When the morning light finally breaks, it reveals frost-etched webs and footprints too small to be human. Your senses sharpen. Every rustle, every scent, becomes vital intelligence. Your future hinges on skills long since buried beneath layers of convenience. Gathering your courage, you fashion crude tools, scraping bone and stone until edges form. The world feels stripped to its bare bones, yet brimming with meaning. A lone rabbit darts into a clearing, unaware of your desperate hunger. Blood, warm and alive, stains your hands as you cradle the creature. By midday's furnace, you roast your find over an open flame. Sweat beads on your brow as you forage for berries, nodules of sustenance hiding beneath thorn and bramble. As afternoon drifts into evening, shadows lengthen and your strength wanes. Nightfall returns with a vengeance. The cold seeps through every crack. Your mind flickers between elation and despair, mastering stone tools, yet haunted by the thought of lurking predators. Could you outrun a wolf, outwit a bear? When the final embers die, you wrap yourself in animal hide, its coarse hairs prickling against your skin. At dawn's soft glow on day 2, you rise, bones protesting each motion. You steel yourself for another whirlwind of elemental tests. Time becomes both ally and enemy. Hours stretch like empty caverns, yet slip away like desert sand. By midday, you've fashioned a shallow pit trap, hoping to snare some small creature. Patience feels endless, but success would mean life. As afternoon light wanes, you hear the snap of your trap. With the final rays of sun, you butcher your catch, each motion precise and necessary. Night falls again, and you sit by your meager fire, contemplating the fragility of life and the astonishing comforts you once took for granted. In those flickering shadows, you understand why modern humans pampered by technology would falter in this raw world. As your strength ebbs, you've clutched the hide tighter, imagining the dawn of the third day. This cycle of light, hunger, warmth, and cold reveals an unforgiving truth. Modern instincts may be precious, but they are rusted relics in the face of Stone Age realities. The forest holds no nostalgia. It asks only, can you adapt, or will you fade like a ghost in its timeless depths? With each heartbeat, you edge closer to either triumph or extinction. Tonight, beneath indifferent stars, you vow to endure once more. But will resilience alone be enough to carry you through another grueling dawn? The stars overhead remain silent sentinels as your breath curls in the frigid air. Every exhale is a soft surrender, every inhale a prayer for strength your not sure remain. Around you, darkness tightens, its grip not cruelly, but indifferently. The fire has withered to embers, each glow a fragile heartbeat echoing your own. Only the pale light of a gray morning, cast through skeletal trees like the ghost of a forgotten god. Hunger gnaws louder than the wolves, and thirst scratches at your throat like dry branches. In the modern world, this would feel like a fall from grace here. It is the badge of staying alive. You stir, limbs stiff and heavy as ancient stone, driven not by comfort, but necessity. You smash through it with a stone, hands trembling from cold and exhaustion. It slices through fatigue like a whisper from a time before time. You follow them, breath held in reverence, heart pounding like war drums carved from hollow trees. One wrong move, and your prey becomes a ghost. One mistake, and you starve another day. There's no sunrise fanfare, no alarm clock serenade. Then, in a clearing bathed in cold light, you see it, a young buck, ears twitching, gaze alert. The spear arcs, clumsy and hopeful, then lands wide. In the Stone Age, failure is a mentor, and pride is a weight that kills. It's a spiral, circling between success and collapse. The buck bolts into the trees, gone like a dream at waking. The air tastes of iron and smoke, your body rank with sweat, dirt and ash. You trudge to the stream you marked days before, its surface glazed with ice. You nurse it like a secret, coaxing it into flame with dry moss and broken breath. This is no game. There is no respawn, no redo, no checkout line waiting with frozen dinner. Your fire pit is cold now, reclaimed by the earth. Starting over feels like punishment. The design is crude, but you are learning what your ancestors knew by birthright. You know nothing of cloud patterns, bird migrations, or barometric shifts, but you wish you did. It's not about strength, it's about patience. Every sound holds layers, every silence weighs more than words. You have tools now, you have rhythm, maybe you even have instinct, buried deep. Here, every minute is paid for with effort, every achievement earned with pain. You mark your path with broken branches and etched trees. You pause, breathing it in like a forgotten song. Getting lost here is more than an inconvenience, it's a death sentence. The flavor is foreign but nourishing. You eat greedily, then carefully store the remains for later. Nothing is wasted here. The water, when it hits your tongue, feels like liquid lightning. You glance skyward, scanning the heavens like a mariner of old. A distant cry cuts across the forests, silence a predator or prey. It's impossible to know. In the distance, hoofprints mark them, a deer maybe. You stalk carefully, aware of every leaf, every twig beneath your foot. The wind howls through the trees like voices in mourning. Every joint aches with a memory of cold stone and unforgiving labor. An hour passes, maybe two. You ready your crude spear, fingers clumsy with tension. You strike, and the world contracts to a single heartbeat. You no longer wonder how to survive. You wonder how long you can, curse. You don't cry. You simply sit. Your stomach knots. Not just from hunger, but from the realization that survival isn't linear. You wander back to your crude camp, each step heavier than the last. Your hands tremble as you strike flint against stone. Sparks fly, but nothing catches. Again and again. Eventually, the flame returns, timid as a newborn. As warmth seeps back into your limbs, so too does clarity. You craft more spears, binding stone to wood with sinew and will. The sky darkens again, the hours devoured by tasks you once outsourced to machines. You roast the last of your foraged mushrooms, chewy, bitter, but blessedly filling. You chew slowly, knowing tomorrow may bring nothing. Darkness descends once more. You stack branches over your fire, hoping it lasts the night. Sleep comes like an ambushan moment, you watching shadows flicker. The next you're dreaming of neon lights and microwave dinners. When you wake, your body is sorer than ever. But there's a shift in your thinking now. Your ears have adjusted to the forest's language, the scratch of lizard feet, the beat of owl wings. Your modern mind has been slowly silenced. You venture further today, leaving your crude shelter behind. Midday sun breaks through for the first time in days, casting golden light on your weathered face. You find a stream teeming with small fish, silver flashes in dark water. With a pointed stick and patience, you catch two, enough they cook quickly, bones and all. The flavor is foreign but nourishing. You eat greedily, then carefully store the remains for later. Nothing is wasted here. You scan the land for safer shelter, something natural, perhaps a shallow cave or hollow tree. You clear the inside, making peace with spiders and beetles. You set your fire at the mouth. This place might serve. You find one, narrow, mossy, and dark, but it smells of animal musk. You rest easier, even as the darkness presses in. You're not thriving, but you're enduring. Still, it's safer than open air. That night, you feel marginally more secure. They feel like myths now, stories whispered in campfire dreams. The next morning your body protests, but your spirit is steadier. You feel older, not in years, but in weight. In knowing, you think of the modern world of conditioned offices, delivery apps, electric lights. The Stone Age strips you down to essence. No schedules, no distractions. Just one question, asked every day in every way. Will you survive? You answer not with words, but with action, with foraging, sharpening, watching. Each motion builds a language older than thought. Today you find berries, edible ones. You remember their shape from trial and error, sharp, tangy, sweet as triumph. You are no hero. You are just still here. You wait. You begin to move more like an animal, less like a visitor. You crouch when you walk. You listen with your whole body. You no longer marvel at the rawness of the world. You belong to it, at least a little. Rain comes that evening, a cold, steady drizzle that soaks your clothes and douses your fire. You huddle in your shelter, counting heartbeats. You raise your spear, every muscle screaming to hold still. The chill cuts deeper tonight, straight to bone and soul. You curl tighter, muttering promises to endure, to see the sun again. You approach, heart pounding like the earth's drumbeat. You follow birds, stalk silence, learn the rhythm of your prey. When it rises, you feel the cost. Your fingers are stiff, your lips cracked, but your fire lives. That is enough. You whisper thanks, though the creature cannot hear. You feel older still. The softness has left you. The noise in your mind is dulled. Each day now feels like a chapter in a silent epic told in smoke, blood, and the rustle of leaves. You venture further, carving a wider circle into this ancient world. Without doubt, you have passed a test as old as humanity. You find deer scat, fresh and steaming. You slow your breath, your pace. Others might survive a day or two, but without a tribe, without skill, the odds shrink fast. And wait, and then it comes. You've paid in blisters and blood and frostbitten fingers, a doe, cautious but unaware. You throw. This time, your aim is true. The impact is not clean. The animal kicks, stumbles, and bleeds. Will your body hold? Will your luck run dry? You end it with your knife crude. You butcher quickly, expertly. You carry it back like sacred treasure. For the first time in days, you eat without fear. But the Stone Age doesn't praise or pity. It simply asks, can you do it again tomorrow? As you dry the meat by firelight, you think about all the ways you've changed. You no longer count days and minutes. You count them in fires lit, meals won, steps taken without falling. And yet you remain a visitor here. Your mind still drifts to warm beds, clean water, voices carried through glass screens. Would any modern soul make it this far? Could we, softened by ease, ever claw our way back to instinct? Most would perish before fire ever sparked. The Stone Age doesn't tolerate comfort or indecision. It rewards the ruthless, the quiet, the watchful. You've learned this, and still it's only been a few days. The future looms, hungry as the wolves beyond your fire's glow. You listen to the forest, now familiar, now still alien. Somewhere out there is the next test, the next night, the next lesson, and you will meet it, flint in hand, heart of stone, bones of fire. But even now, as smoke curls to the stars, you know the greatest challenge hasn't yet come. It waits in the shadows of the days ahead, where your memory fades, and instinct must lead. And as the wind whispers through ancient trees, the Stone Age asks one more time, will you survive? Tomorrow. Sure, here's a slightly shorter continuation, with the same immersive tone and 2 to 3 line paragraph structure. It picks up directly where we left off, continuing your professional YouTube script style and still leaving room for more. The fire crackles low, its warmth barely reaching your skin. You stare into the coals, watching memory flicker between ember and ash. Beyond the shelter, the wind growls like a beast that's forgotten your name. But you no longer fear it to brace against it. You're one of them, or at least something close. You wake each morning colder than the last, but your movements have purpose. Your limbs move like tools, now efficient, precise, silent. The people you joined watch you differently now, not with suspicion, not as an outsider. There's a quiet respect in their eyes when you return with game, when you split bark for fire, when you string bone into needles. The necklace they gave you still hangs around your neck, bone against flesh, a silent mark of earned belonging. It weighs nothing but means everything. As the days shorten, you feel the world preparing for something larger than you. The animals are fewer, the silence deeper, the cold hungrier. No one says it, but you all know. You help with the cache's roots buried in frost-packed pits, meat smoked and strung between trees, hides wrapped in dried grass. One morning your fingers are too stiff to tie sinew. Your breath fogs the air like smoke. Even fire takes longer to spark. You share a look, a breath, a moment of awe. Not anymore. That home is too far behind. A task once impossible now done with muscle memory and silent gratitude. The forest no longer feels like a place. It feels like a test. Each step outside the camp is a wager against snow, starvation, and time. You kneel, touch the ice, and feel your own fragility staring back. You stumble across a frozen stream, half-starved tracks crisscrossing its banks. A squirrel scampers up a tree to quick to catch. Still, you track it, learning the way it moves, where it nests. Nothing is wasted now, not even failure. The group grows quieter each day. Words are scarce, save for warning, or comfort, or ritual. There is no small talk in survival. It's a reminder. Even in the past, men were monsters. You reach the other camp and it's broken. Shelters burned. The children huddle close to the surviving women. The men sit in stillness, weapons resting on their knees, supplies scattered. Between groups, between people, even among survivors, fear spreads like smoke. One elder dead. But when the sky clears one night and stars bloom overhead, you all pause. You dream again of warmth, of voices calling you home. But you don't wake crying. Instead, you rise, stretch aching limbs, and stoke the fire. Alone, wrapped in furs not from your tribe. A stranger again. Like you once were, they see you don't run. Don't reach for a weapon, just nod, like they've been waiting for someone. Then comes the visitor. Two silhouettes beside flickering flame, in the middle of a world that has tried to end you both. A runner from the other group, bloodied, wild-eyed, mumbling fast in their tongue. Something's happened. An attack, a fracture. You take the first watch without needing to be told. Your people move quickly, packs thrown over shoulders, weapons readied. You're not asked to follow, but you do. In this age, survival speaks loudest of all. The land quiets further. Life slows to a crawl, but it does not stop. Elders hum low songs beside fire. You sharpen tools, mend shelter walls, watch the sky for signs. Your thoughts fewer, but sharper. The trail is red and winding. Smoke curls in the air ahead. The attackers are gone. No trace of who they were, only the violence they left behind. Nor is this story. The wind still whispers. The fire still breathes. Ice thickens. The sun hangs lower. Your breath never leaves your lips without freezing midair, but it pulls. Nights survived. There is morning, quiet and heavy. You help rebuild what can be safe, stacking stones, setting traps, offering what little you have. No one refuses you. You are one of them. Still, you feel the fragility growing. Your tribe returns to camp watchful. That night, the fire burns longer. Weapons stay close. The darkness hums with potential danger. But nothing comes. Only the long, aching cold. Weeks pass, but you live. Your body has changed. Your jaw is harder. Your muscles lean. You are slower to speak, quicker to move. You're no longer surviving the Stone Age. You're becoming part of it. And then, at the edge of camp, something strange. A footprint, human, new, alone. You follow it cautiously, flint blade in hand, past the ridge, into a valley filled with mist, and there someone sits by a fire. You step closer. You sit across from them. No words. Later, when you return to your group, you keep the encounter quiet, not out of secrecy but reverence. The world is wide. So are its stories. More snowfalls. Children learn to walk on frost-hardened ground. You no longer count days. You count fires kept burning. Spears return blood. And yet, something stirs in you, a memory of another life. A life of noise and light and ease. It doesn't hurt anymore. Maybe you fell into this time. Maybe you were meant to. Either way, the Stone Age no longer feels like a punishment. It feels like a mirror showing what we once weren't, what we've forgotten how to be. You sit by the fire, a sharpened stone in your hand, and stare into the dark trees, wondering what waits beyond the next ridge. Winter isn't over, and deep in the forest, something watches. The dawn light slices through the frost-bitten branches. You wake beneath rough animal hides. The fire long since died to embers. Each breath curls into the air like smoke from forgotten stories. Your fingers numb and slow. Fumble for flint and kindling. The spark catches, and the fire breathes again. You've made it through the night. She learns quickly. The child follows your every move, mimicking the rhythm of survival. When you hunt together, you fail, then succeed. The woman smiles. Rarely, but it is something real. With shaking hands, you leave your own print beside theirs. You are becoming part of something older than memory. You move with them, packing what you've earned, not what you remember. Sometimes, you dream of glass and steel, of cities humming like bees. But each morning, you wake with a spear in hand, not a phone. You carve new tools, teach her to bind sinew into thread. She teaches you patience. In time, the tribe comes to accept you. You find a new cave where your old painting still remains faded, but there, and now, it is surrounded by new ones. Others have come, others have remembered. The machines, the wires, the static, they have faded into gold. He grins from the branches like a king. You remember fear, but you do not call him down. He has become what you never were. He belongs. You tell stories now of cold, of hunger, of beginnings. They listen, spellbound. You have become a keeper of things, not just memories but meaning. In their place, wind, fire, voices, touch. Her eyes meet yours, and there is no need for words. You pack your tools, you tie your bundle. Together, you walk toward the next horizon. At night you sit with her beneath a sky full of stars that never change no matter what century you were born in. You cross the last ridge before the sun sets, leaving behind fire circles, old stories, and the faintest trace of footprints in the dirt. But the child laughs, and somehow, that laughter changes everything. The woman no longer follows you, walk side by side. Her voice is stronger now. Her son runs like a shadow, light-footed and fearless. You build homes from stone and branch. You craft baskets, stitch hides, share the work of living. You are not just surviving, you are becoming. You share fire and stories. Someone plays a drum made from stretched hide. Then, as always, life continues. The old are remembered, the young are taught, and the fire never dies completely. That night, you danced with strangers under stars that know no borders. You watch him, and for the first time, realize that he might survive without you. The thought is both sorrow and peace. The old ones nod when you speak. A clean kill. The meat is shared. The bond, too. Fresh tracks mark the snow rabbit. Maybe you follow them with a hollow stomach and a sharpened stick. She doesn't run, she doesn't speak. You lift your hands slowly. No words, only the universal gesture. I mean no harm. She watches message you. Then, without a word, she follows you back toward your fire. Every step is a gamble. The wind is bitter, but it carries the scent of life. The meat is dry and the fire small, but it is enough. The child eats greedily. The woman eats little. Trust begins as a whisper between you. You approach together, cautious but unafraid. This time, there is no danger. The strangers accept your offering of meat, and in return, they give you roots, fire, and space near the hearth. There are no names yet, only breath, warmth, and the unspoken agreement to face the cold together. You crouch, step, and throw. Too far left. The prey escapes. You cursed softly, alone with the ache in your belly and the hunger in your bones. But the forest isn't empty. A shape watches from beyond the trees, a woman, cloaked in furs, a child clinging to her side. That night you share food in silence. In the days that follow, you show her how to set snares, how to find dry bark, how to sharpen bone into a blade. Smoke rises from beyond a distant ridge. Another camp, another risk. You scout ahead and return with wordless gestures. Here, in this place of borrowed safety, the child begins to speak. His first words are yours. You climb a ridge and discover a cave etched in ochre. Animals dance across its walls, hunters with spears, suns and stars. You feel time stretch inside those markings. Spring teases the earth as the snow thins. The world softens. The tribe begins to move again. Another tribe meets you on a hill. Their eyes are sharp, their weapons ready. Days turn. But danger still lingers. A sickness takes an elder. No roots or smoke can save her. The tribe mourns with ash and river water. You travel farther, over frozen streams, past thick forests, across plains buzzing with bees. The boy grows taller. His hand is steady. He carves beside you. You dream less of your old world now. One day, the boy climbs a tree so high your breath. You return to the tribe's fire, where others have gathered. The forest stretches ahead. You feel its cool. The woman sees it too. The boy follows, lighter than air, heavier than hope. The world ahead waits, vast and silent. You walk into it not as a visitor from the future, but as someone reborn in the oldest way possible. And still, beyond the next rise, there will be more.